Hey there, got drill not too far from the boat here. Troy Smyka here, Great Day on the Water Guide Service. Welcome to this episode of Fishing and Hunting the North Country. It is early July, well, early to mid, and we are on a West Metro area lake right after 4th of July weekend when things settle down. Big, beautiful pumpkin seed there, and we'll get him back. We are targeting panfish today. We'll go through as we go along. That one was on a, I call it a jig spinner, but a 16th ounce VMC Moon Eye jig with a 2-inch Berkeley power bait ripple shad on it, and then a small jig spinner added on, and we're just throwing that out and slow whirling that over the weed tops. Sunfish just came up and took something by the surface right there. We're on a big weedy reef that drops off to about 40 feet on either side. There's hard bottom up in the middle of it, and then weeds all along the perimeter of it. Sunfish would have bedded up on that hard bottom. Crappies would have spawned around here. We should be post-spawn for both now, but we should have lots of aggressive, hungry, voraciously feeding panfish up here. We'll probably catch a few bass too on these smaller baits, maybe some pike. But we'll be targeting crappies and sunfish. This lake has pumpkin seeds like I got there, bluegills and hybrids, and it has some nice ones and some nice crappies too. Stay with us. Hey there, one cast after that pumpkin seed, I got a nice bluegill also on that jig spinner. So we've also caught a small bass already and a couple of smaller sunfish. Nice beautiful eater bluegill there. Don't need any fish today, so back he goes. This reef tops out at about 3 feet up on the top where the hard bottom is, and then kind of all around the perimeter cabbage, and then it rolls off. We're fishing the cabbage. We're going to be fishing anywhere from probably about 7 to 10 feet with cabbage and other weeds coming up to within a few feet of the surface, and we'll just be slow rolling the spinner baits over the top of that. Sometimes the fish are right up over the tops of the weeds. Sometimes they're suspended out off the edges. That's just what we have to look for and figure out. So far we caught a small crappie too, so we've caught everything up over the tops of the weeds right now. All right, my son Parker with a nice male pumpkin seed there, nice chubby one. Drilled that. He's also using that jig spinner. I'm using a smelt colored silver and gray ripple shad. He's using kind of a purple and silver ripple shad. I'm sure the color's not going to make any difference. Nice fish, buddy. Put him back to fight another day. And Parker we were just watching a huge carp swim by here, and Parker nailed a crappie. It's our second crappie. We've got bluegills, pumpkin seeds, and hybrid sunfish so far, and a bass. Nice job, buddy. All right. Gotta follow my son's crappie with another bluegill here. Post-spawn male bluegill there. Hey, got another, ooh, nice, colorful pumpkin seed on that jig spinner. Just drilled it right by the boat. I watched him hit it. Yeah, and again, just that little search bait. If we find fish schooled up pretty well, sometimes you can just keep pitching these to them, but if we're getting pecked at or followed and not catching them as much, then we'll switch and maybe show that later, a slip bobber presentation with a soft plastic and a jig under it. Hey, this one felt a little heavy for a panfish. Got a small bass. I'll catch them up here too. They're chasing around the panfish. Hey, I got slammed by, oh, nice, pretty big pumpkin seed. So again, we caught all 3 pumpkin seeds, bluegills, and hybrids, and crappies, and largemouth bass. Hey there. Well, we've got a group of sunfish in this area, so I switched to the slip bobber with, well, you can use the same 16th ounce jig with a soft plastic under it. I happen to be using a hair jig here. There's a nice bluegill. Him back. I'm using, this is a lot of guys consider it an ice fishing jig, but it's VMC, the Tony Roach tungsten jig. Tungsten jig, so you have a real small jig and hook and then the hair on there. And then my son has switched to a little topwater popper because we've been seeing fish surfacing around here, panfish. And he just had a nice bluegill on that came off by the boat. So we're gonna keep working this area here with these little bit slower techniques and see if we can stack some more up. All right, just got another one here on, this is on the 16th ounce jig with a 2-inch Berkeley power bait minnow under a slip float. Just had 3 more nice ones follow him up. Another nice pumpkin seed. We got a few fish schooled up here, so and it's getting a little higher, a little brighter, so we're fishing a little slower, less aggressive presentation. Hey, right where we anchored up, because we had some sunfish grouped up, got a nice crappie here too. So again, that 2-inch Berkeley power minnow underneath, or on a 16th ounce VMC Moon Eye jig underneath the slip float. We're about 4 feet down, 3.5. Catching him right above the weeds. A nice crappie there. We'll get a picture of him, we'll let him go. Hey, got some weeds with him, but we got a nice big beautiful pumpkin seed here. On the jig spinner, that's beauty there. All right, Parker with, oh, nice bluegill. Drilled the jig spinner. Back moving around here, using the jig spinners as kind of a search technique. If we find fish, but they're kind of nipping at it or not getting hooked, then we stop and try the slip bobbers. But it's a pretty nice bluegill there, how about? Hey there, big beautiful pumpkin seed here, drilled the jig spinner. Nice fish, we'll get a picture of him and let him go. All right, we're gonna call it a morning here. The sun's getting high, it's getting hot. We got a lot of panfish and some bass. We caught today a few largemouth. We caught bluegills, pumpkin seeds, and bluegill pumpkin seed hybrids. And we caught crappies. Our bait that caught the most fish, and it's kind of my search bait to look for panfish. I just call it a jig spinner, 16th ounce VMC Moon Eye jig. Got a 2-inch, you can put any kind of 2-inch soft plastic or 1.5-inch soft plastic. This is a 2-inch Berkeley power bait ripple shad. You can use just a minnow on there. You can use a twister tail on there. You can even use a small grub on there. I just like the double action, and it's got the jig spinner on there. Then I like the spinner blade flashing and that paddle tail thumping. And that's then got a liter of fluorocarbon up to a tiny barrel swivel to help with line twist, and the fluorocarbon's a little bit more abrasion resistant, tangles less on the cast. Then 4-pound test Berkeley fire line to the reel. Casting that with 7 and 8 foot. These are St. Croix Panfish series rods. They're ultralights, again 7 or 8 foot. I'm using an 8 foot with a moderate action here, so it bends a lot. Bends about 1/3 of the way down, so I'm just reeling that along, slow rolling that spinner bait. Sunfish will tug, and you can give them a little bit, and that rod gives enough for them to get it in and hook them. Crappie usually you'll come up and inhale it, you'll feel a whack, your line will actually go slack a second, and your rod will load up, and then you just sweep forward and you have them. When we found fish kind of grouped up in an area, then we tried a couple of baits. We used a slip bobber presentation, same St. Croix Panfish series rod, 7-footers with a Fluger President's ultralight spinning reel on there, 4-pound test Berkeley Fireline crystal on the reel, then a small barrel swivel attaching to a small liter of fluorocarbon. Again, that's 8-pound test fluorocarbon. This is the same 16th ounce VMC Moon Eye jig, and this is with a 2-inch Berkeley power minnow on there. Again, you could use a paddle tail, you could use a tube, it doesn't really matter. We also caught some under the slip bobber instead of this Moon Eye jig with plastic, with a VMC Roach tungsten jig, which is a hair jig. And then when we had them in an area before the wind came up much, we saw panfish surfacing. So my son went to this. This is a Rapala ultralight skitter pop, just a ultralight version of the bass popper. And he threw this out, same rig, popped it. He had a couple on, one came off, but we got a few with that, and that's a lot of fun when the panfish, sunnies, and crappies are coming up as well. So again, we're a week to 10 days late. Usually this will happen the post-spawn panfish bite, crappies and sunfish in the same place as feeding after the spawn. Usually mid to late June that happens. We're in early July here, first few days of July, because we've had a kind of a cool spring. Took a while to get the water to warm up, but when you get that water into the mid to upper 70s, find a main lake, point, or reef that has all kinds of weeds on it and is near a hard bottom area where sunfish would have bedded, and you will find these either suspended through the tops of the weeds or suspended just off the edge of the weed line. And use that search bait, that jig spinner. When you find them, you can keep catching them on that like we did, or you can go to a slip bobber. Everybody likes watching the bobber go down. You can have a load of fun. For Parker Smutka behind the camera, I'm Troy Smutka. Thanks for watching this episode of Fishing and Hunting in the North Country. Hope to see you at our next one. Until then, good luck, and I will see you out there somewhere.